to Jake Jackets. Gear up to fire the cannon and hit the ice with your host, Jay Ashdown and Jake Gehringer.
Very big surprise for you, right?
It was, because I was literally there. So the plan was like, I thought I was going to be playing on Thursday.
Right, because this actually ties into why you couldn't do the watch along with me.
Yes. So I'm at work on Wednesday just trying to get everything done so I can go home early, do some laundry, and then start packing. I'm in the middle of like finishing up this project, like within like 5 minutes of finishing this.
And it was the notes for our last episode, right? Was the project or was it something different?
No, this is like a project at work.
Oh, like a work thing. Okay.
Like a work project. So I'm finishing this up. And I look over to like the one door that like leads from the production floor to like the offices, and I see my mom walk in. Like, why the hell are you here? And then I see my sister walk in, and I was like,
"What are you doing here?"
And then I see my cousin Allie walk in, and I'm like, "What the fuck are we doing here?" And then she's the last one. I see her, and I just look at her, and I'm like, "What?"
Oh, that's really sweet. That's adorable.
And I had the dumbest thought when she walked through the door that I had for like 5 seconds before. I was like, "You're an idiot." And the thought was, "Why are you here? I'm supposed to be flying out tomorrow."
Okay, so we're starting chipper.
Yeah.
For a reason. And that's a great story to start. And I do want to thank everybody that came out to the watch along with me the other week against the Islanders. The VOD is still up on the THPN YouTube channel. You can check it out and see me hanging out with people. But I want to start the actual show. First of all, Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Happy 2023 to everybody out there. Thank you all for, sticking with us as we continue to grow and continue to build this platform.
Yeah.
And we're going to start with not jacket stuff. We're going to get to Cappies soon.
I didn't even start with hockey stuff.
No, we're going to start with the biggest story in all of sports right now. And I'm going to give context to the timeline and a bit of a warning. Because as of recording this tonight, this story isn't even 24 hours old.
No, it's not. We're sitting here. It's 7:20 right now on Tuesday.
So you've all of our friends who are football fans as well out there, the story because it was Monday Night Football. Huge game. Huge.
I mean, it could literally determine who gets a bye and home field for the playoffs. Because
amazing playoff seeding game, right?
Yeah, for sure. Because what was their record heading into the game? They were like
Cincinnati was 11-4.
Okay, that's what I thought.
The matchup was Bengals and Buffalo Bills.
And the Bills are trying to win this game against a very good team, because if they win their next 2 games, I think they get the bye because they beat the Chiefs earlier this year. That's what they're battling with.
And they're also 12-3. They have a little bit better record.
These are 2 of the best teams in the league, and not just
amazing quarterback matchup.
2 of the best quarterbacks. Some really good wide receivers.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the only one of the Triple Crown in Cincy's wide receiver core that was out was Boyd.
Yes.
But this isn't about any of them.
No.
This is not about any of them. The 2 main characters in this story are T. Higgins.
Yeah.
And DeMar Hamlin.
Yeah. I think it's a really rough kind of reminder to everyone about the fact that sports can be dangerous and that these are real people.
It's a big wake-up call for a lot of reporters.
Yeah.
that these are more than just assets for entertainment.
Yeah. Yeah. And I really appreciate you mentioning T. Higgins in this because
Well,
God,
let's break this actual scenario down, right? So
yes.
I don't remember. I wasn't around. I was off of work,
Yeah.
so I wasn't around any TVs
Hmm.
when the game was going on.
Yeah.
So
It's a simple play.
when in the game did this happen?
This happened in late in the first quarter, I believe.
Late first.
7-3 Cincinnati. Uh, it's just a simple crossing route. Burrow just looks over the middle, gets it to his guy running across the field, and he's trying to catch and cut up field. So he
Mhm.
gets it to Higgins. It's a very routine play.
Yes.
Like Jake, just to make this, I'm trying to contextualize this for people. You've got the NFL, you've got college football, and that's not just FBS. This is
Mhm.
FBS, FCS, Division III. I think of high school football. Think
Yeah.
of how many divisions there are just in the state of Ohio, let alone the entire country. I do
Ohio.
not mean this metaphorically when I say this is a play that it happens millions of times,
Yes.
like literally millions. This happens all the time.
This is as routine as you can get.
It's not like, and just to kind of keep it connected to Cincinnati, like we've seen some weird things happen in Cincinnati over the years. The
4 of the most disastrous injury plays
yeah,
have
you have
happened in Cincinnati.
Ryan Shazier, I think of
Yes, Shazier.
Antonio Brown, and then earlier this year with Tua.
Yes.
Like, and granted, like the Tua play and this play, neither of those are dirty plays. It's just freak incidents, just
Yes.
that happen.
Extremely scary. And Tua, like, he's spent 5 stints in concussion protocol just this year alone.
Yeah.
And this is different, okay?
Yeah, this
So,
is completely different. Like
vastly different.
It's just a hit to the shoulder pad, really.
Really routine.
It
Like,
wasn't even like
the
a
contact
hard
wasn't even
hit.
that much.
Yeah, it is literally like a 1 in a million kind of thing that happens that
And
we've never seen before.
2 seconds later, DeMar,
He got back up,
he gets up, he looks fine,
and then just out.
just out cold. And he literally like slumped onto the ground like a mannequin.
Yeah,
Like, it was the scariest thing watching him fall over.
incredibly scary. Really indescribable, I think, because
It's hard to break, like, it's hard to describe the actual what happened because so much happened.
a lot of it's like we don't know, like
He falls over, an actual ambulance
yes,
comes onto the football field
they had to give him CPR.
for about 10 minutes, right?
I'm not sure how long it lasted.
It was like 9-10 minutes.
All I know is, they restored his heartbeat, and now the question that's on a lot of people's minds that's going to impact his life is, how long was his heartbeat gone? That's the piece that we don't know. It's a significant piece. We know that he's getting the best care possible in the area.
He he drove over to UC.
Yeah, they took the ambulance over. His family was there.
So
And
he's in the care of University of Cincinnati Hospital.
Yeah, and they had the opportunity to get his mother into the ambulance with him.
Mm-hmm. T ends up leaving. There's a
Yeah.
pause for over an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, a crucial piece of information that I'm missing that I'm surprised we didn't mention right off the bat: how young DeMar Hamlin is.
Both these guys.
Yeah, and T's young too. T's, but
24?
they're both about the same age, aren't they?
Yeah,
They're both 24.
I believe so. Yeah.
So they're right in between us.
Uh-huh.
And obviously, like, the big part of the story is obviously DeMar Hamlin, his health, his life.
Yeah. Sports become secondary, right?
As of right now, he's still like, we've had no updates all day
I want to
long.
say a half hour ago we got an update from a family member. Okay, so this is from Josh Reed, uh, up in Buffalo. Just spoke with DeMar Hamlin's uncle. He was originally on 100% oxygen and is now down to 50%. Says the family is hanging in there. He thanked Bills fans and Bengals fans and asked for continued prayers. Not sure if this means anything,
But he's still in critical condition, is he not? Would that still classify him under critical condition? Do you know? Like, we're not doctors. We
I'm
don't know
not.
this.
I don't know. I'm not a medical professional, so I'm not qualified to say that. What I will
Right.
say is that seems like a good update
Yes, that's at least somewhat positive news, and we'll take any positive news that we can
because
get.
it it implies that he's becoming less and less dependent on the oxygen provided.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm just reading some things in the comments.
And it's basically what happened to DeMar was a cardiac arrest.
Yeah,
That's what the diagnosis is.
yeah. As a physician, this is a very good sign of progress in his condition. He also got medical attention, CPR, and defibrillation right away. Let's all pray he will fully and completely recover soon.
So yes,
It sounds like it's developing more in the way of progressing him to a point where they can try to almost kind of wake him up, I think.
Make sure he's breathing on his own.
Yeah, but like that's a good sign. That's
Yes.
a good sign. So that is a good update. That
Any
came
progress is good
about
progress.
35 minutes ago.
Okay.
So
Any progress is good progress.
yes,
Continue to pray for number 3.
Yep.
And I don't mean to like move this along so quick, but there are so many aspects that we still need to get to just about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because obviously the biggest factor in all of this is DeMar and his health. But I also want to talk about T and how he's doing.
That's important.
It's important to think about T right now. Because he left with his mother.
He didn't do anything. It's a football play.
Yeah.
He did nothing wrong.
No, he shouldn't be kicking himself about this.
But human nature, right? You know, I can't imagine.
I can understand him like thinking that there's blame in this.
Yeah, like the human nature of it. Absolutely. You know, we as outsiders who watch, that unfold, all know.
Did you see Joey and Josh on the sideline?
Yeah.
Oh, just how broken both of those guys were.
How broken everyone was. On all sides. You look at and not just even the Buffalo side, the Bengals side. It's
yes. I want to give my kudos out to the coaches, Zach Taylor and Sean McDermott.
Yes, absolutely. 2 world-class coaches, not only just in the sense of they're really good at their jobs, but great people.
Yes, because these two,
they handled this as well as you could have asked anybody to handle it.
These two were the ones to push for the game to be postponed, for the players to go back to the locker rooms.
Yes.
They were the ones that had calls back and forth with the league. And it's huge for those guys to have pushed for that. It's huge that Joe and a couple of the other Cincinnati captains went to the Bills locker room to check on everybody in there. Right?
Yes. So
I
here's
hope T's doing okay, because that's gonna really mess with his head
of
for
course.
such a long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I wanted to mention kind of about this
I'm gonna move
uh
this away from the
that a
mic.
lot of people were upset about was the NFL and the whole 5 minute thing.
Yes, I wanted to get to that next.
Yeah.
So basically, the play happens.
Hmm.
The ambulance comes out. They carry him off.
Yeah.
And the immediate reaction from the league
Hmm.
was, we want to make sure this game can continue.
Hmm.
We're going to give everybody 5 minutes
Yes.
to process this, get your gear, and move on.
Yeah.
No.
It is hard to. I think there's a couple different perspectives about this because naturally, like, no, of course not, right? As you said, no. Like,
Roger, what are you thinking, man? Are you even thinking? We talk
I,
about Gary
I
Bettman
think
as a
back,
bad commissioner. Like, we know
yeah,
Roger Goodell is a very scummy commissioner.
yes. I think about it was some game a couple years ago, a soccer game. Do you remember a guy collapsed on in the field and you had players praying around him and they finished the
Mm-hmm.
game?
Well, what I think of, and this is because we're a hockey show, Rich Peverly, Jay Bomeister.
It was with the Blue Jackets. They rescheduled that game, and now granted it
The
was
Peverly game, yes.
that game because it wasn't at the end of the season. As the NFL is a lot different than the NHL. It's a lot easier to reschedule a game in the National Hockey League
Yeah.
than it is in the NFL. The one thing I'll say that I saw, and this is from Bill Bradley, that I thought was interesting and almost, I don't want to say excuses the NFL, but maybe provides a little context that people should think about,
Mm-hmm.
is he said, as someone who used to work for the league, there is a massive undertaking to suspending a game. If you call it immediately, then the rush of traffic could impede first responders getting out of there.
Right, and that's why,
I
well,
think
like,
that has an impact on,
why they waited an hour at the very least.
yes, and I'll give him a little bit of pass about that, but the 5 minute thing is where it's like,
That's, like I said,
really,
no.
yeah.
You can't expect the players, after what they just witnessed,
Hmm.
to go through with that quickly.
Yeah.
Especially, again, especially T,
Yeah.
right? You would have to have T pulled from the game for that.
Yeah. It's hard because there's really no precedent for it. So it's hard to know in the moment how you'll react to something if it's never really
Yeah.
happened before.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I mean, we had
I
similar,
think I
like I
think
said, we had similar things,
mhm,
like we've mentioned with what happened with Tua over the course
yeah.
of this year.
Yeah, this league I think has a lot to learn, and
Oh, of course they do.
the good news is uh I think that there are things that they will learn from it because it's incredibly important.
Yes.
And
I
now
can't go
having
without
this,
ripping into these people, though.
yeah,
Personally, I cannot go without just completely tearing these guys a new one.
yeah,
Because in the end, I guess they did the right thing. They called the
they
game.
did. It it comes on the back of pushback, right?
Yeah, and as of now, they haven't made a final decision on when or if
Hmm.
they're going to actually make this game up.
I don't know how you do that, and I don't even mean just in like an emotional sense. I just mean like in a
In a
logistic.
schedule sense.
I'm not sure how you do it,
Where do you fit it?
but that's something that they'll have to figure out on their own. And at the end of the day, I think the most important thing is we've mentioned is the game's over. We'll let the NFL figure that aspect out of it.
Mm-hmm.
We, regardless if you're religious or not, uh, prayers for Damar and for T.
Yeah.
And for the players who had to witness it. I think just like we have friends who were at the game. Like,
oh
some
yeah,
of our
Lindsay
friends-
was there, Danny was there, Jason was there.
My friend from college, Julia, traveled all the way from Buffalo.
Wow.
She's had this trip with her friends planned for well over a month.
Mm-hmm.
We were Snapchatting while she was at a bar on New
Oh.
Year's watching the Ohio State game, which right. And
We
I was
watched
like,
the
oh my
we
God,
watched the
that's
Michigan
right.
game. We watched the
Like,
Michigan game at my grandparents, and
yeah.
just because we ended up leaving, like trying to make it before OSU started.
Yeah, I remember
Anyway.
Snapchatting with her and being like, "Oh my God, that's right, you're in Ohio." I was like, "You're in the bad part of Ohio," because Cleveland versus Cincinnati, right? And
Yeah, exactly.
I remember just being excited for her, and she posted like photos on her stories ahead of the game, and then this happens, and like I texted her probably like a half an hour after this happened, and I was just like, "I'm so sorry." Like whether you're a Bengals fan in Ohio or a Bills fan who traveled, or even just someone watching on TV, like I just feel bad that this happened to a really
The
good
fact that the
person, to two really good people, and
the fact that the play itself was getting replayed and replayed all over Twitter.
yeah, and the good thing is for me, it got. I want to say like it kind of went away after a couple hours.
Yes, all of
People
them got
stopped it.
purged. A lot of
Yes.
people ended up purging them.
And the reason
making
that I
sure-
know that is because I actually didn't see it happen in real time.
Neither did I. It took me a
Because
replay to watch it.
The other thing that happened yesterday that was very significant is the one that I was watching. Donovan Mitchell scored 71 points for the Cavs.
Exactly, and that's
all my attention.
That had a lot of people's attention. And don't get me wrong, that's a huge accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wild feat for Donovan, and he deserves his cookies for that. But at the same
100%.
time, but this is the bigger story.
No doubt about it. But that's like, I was just watching the Cavs. I didn't even know it happened. So I'm like in one of my group chats just talking about Donovan Mitchell. I'm going nuts over this. And one of my buddies was like, "Hey, like this happened in like the football game. It's like you should probably check it out." Like,
right?
I had no freaking clue. I had no idea. It's crazy, and it took me forever to find because it wasn't on Twitter the way that a lot of these injuries normally happen. You couldn't go 2 seconds without seeing the Tua injury when it happened.
I would be remiss if we didn't, and I hate giving these guys the light of day, but I would be remiss if we didn't tear a new one into the trolls and the bad report. Skip Bayless.
Yeah.
Because
How dare you call him that? How dare you call him a reporter?
Exactly, right? Well, that's why I said the bad reporters, right?
Bad reporters don't do that.
No, that's not even, yeah. Because Skip's
just a jackass. That's all. That's it. Right?
What even was it? It was just like,
this
happened.
How are we gonna get this game back up?
Yeah, yes, this happened, but
ugh.
No, I don't care about the implications for playoff seeding.
Right, it was an all-time ratio on him on Twitter. I couldn't even believe it.
And then there was this one like troll account I remember posing as some ESPN reporter or something like that. That was like, put this game back on. I got a parlay to win.
Yeah, I bet on the game. Got my $10 back, but I bet on the game. You didn't see me on Twitter like, hey, we're gonna get this thing fucking back up. Like, no, I don't give a shit.
No,
I couldn't care less about gambling in that moment.
And hey, we'll get to that. We'll get to the like actual fun gambling stuff in a minute, I guess.
No, dude, I've been tearing it up. I have.
I know.
For you.
What?
I have a fun DraftKings story for you.
Fun. We'll get to that in a minute.
We'll include that with the ad.
Sure. Okay. So yes, tear a new one into these guys that were making it more about the football than the person, for sure. Give praise to all the reporters that were making it about making sure DeMar's okay.
The broadcast team.
Booger.
Really, really good.
And
Really, really good.
Booger and
Joe Buck, Troy
Ryan Clark,
Aikman,
right?
Yeah, all the Scott Van Pelt, like all these guys, like, you know, this is not something that they deal with. Like,
No,
you know, like I said, it's unprecedented. They handled it beautifully, and they deserve all the credit in the world for that.
Yes. Did you see Shannon Sharp even like stormed out
Yeah,
of
I
Undisputed
don't think
or
he
something
showed
like?
up.
No, he just didn't show up to recording that day or something.
That's pretty great.
Good on Shannon. And the last thing I do want to mention on this before we move on to fun things is a little bit more light in the story. Right?
Oh, yes, yes. The
little bit more light.
The one beautiful thing that's come out of it.
So he started in college, in his last year in college.
Yes.
He started this toy drive fund.
Yeah.
3 millions, right?
So, like the latest update?
His goal, let's just start with this.
2,500.
His original goal, 2,500. That was it.
Last I heard, it's over $4.3 million.
Last time I heard, it's like, I think they reached past 5.
Jesus.
They beat, like, just overnight. It was like 2 a.m, and they broke the $1 million mark.
Yeah. You know, I think back to and Bills fans and Bengals fans have been
as soon as my paycheck goes through, I am putting some money in there.
Yeah, they've been very tied to the hip.
Let's actually,
few years,
yeah,
right? Because you remember when the Bengals upset the Ravens in 2017 and it sent the Bills to the playoffs for the first time in well over a decade. The Bills fans just flooded Andy Dalton's charity with money and raised tons and tons of millions, and that's it almost feels like a returning of the favor, doesn't it?
A little bit, doesn't it?
It's kind of a beautiful thing.
Well, it's obviously like this is a great thing to have just an outpouring, right?
Yes.
And
yeah,
I'm gonna say this to anybody who's watching and listening right now: donate. We'll link it. We'll link it.
Yeah, we'll put it in the description.
It's called 3M's, the 3 millions toy drive, right? That's the main part of his foundation.
Yeah.
And man, over $5 million, not even in 24 hours.
It's pretty amazing what people can do when they actually use their time and their energy and their resources to something good.
Can you imagine what it's going to be like when he wakes up and they tell him how much money's in his fundraiser?
Right, yeah. Probably pretty incredible.
Just it blows my mind. He'll get an honorary. We'll just, he'll get an honorary Cappy because yes.
Yeah, of course. Same with T.
We'll throw them in the ring for that.
Every Bengal and Bills player, coaching, all of them, anybody who's involved with what happened yesterday,
that made the right decisions.
That made the right decisions gets an honorary Cappy for sure.
Yes. But yes, I just pray that DeMar's going to be okay. That he's going to pull through this. Obviously, there's progress.
Yeah.
So it sounds like he should be, hopefully.
That's what we're hoping for.
And I pray for T. Pray for his mental state, because good Lord.
Yeah.
It's just how shaken up was he in the moment after that?
Of course.
And then obviously, if and when this game returns, whether they just like restart it from scratch or they continue where they left off, however they do it. If they decide to do it, see where it goes from there, right?
Yeah.
They'll figure it out. They're a billion-dollar
Yeah,
corporation.
that's up to them. To them.
But yeah, we just wanted to start with that because that is the biggest story of the year so far, right? And now, Ohio, we're here. Happy Keepers by DraftKings Sportsbook. And we can now join in the fun, people.
It's about damn time.
We are in the stretch of the hockey season where, we have the Winter Classic and the All-Star ballots are going to start up soon. And I know the All-Star game is more just like the hey, we're having fun kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I doubt you could bet. I don't know. I don't know if you could bet on All-Star stuff. It's like, that's the whole sports betting thing is new to me.
Right.
It's new to all of us here in Ohio because now it's legal.
Hell yeah, babe.
And if you sign up and bet $5 on any NHL team to win, you can get $150 in free bets if they do when you sign up with the promo code THPN to help us out. You said you had a story, right?
I do have a story. It is quite a fun story. So, yesterday, through DraftKings, I put in $25 on the Chicago Bulls money line. Okay.
Did you sign up with THPN?
I did.
Good.
Of course I did.
Of course you did.
So the payout for a $25 bet on the Bulls money line was $62.50. Okay.
Okay.
And at halftime, the Bulls were up by 18. And the cash out option, if I wanted to cash out my bet early,
right?
Obviously I'm not getting the full amount of money, but you can make that decision depending on where the game's at. Was for $50.77. And I did it.
You cashed out and got $50?
I cashed out, so I doubled my money. I went from $25 to $50.77.
Hey, the 77 cents.
And the Cavs came back and won.
Good thing you cashed out early then, huh?
Yeah. And not only did they come back and win, 71 points from Donovan Mitchell.
So, hey, that's an option you have with DraftKings, being able to cash out early just in case you want to play it safe.
Yep.
You can, increase your money with same game parlays, betting on, this, and this. We've talked about this before. If a chain reaction of things happen, you get bigger payouts, and it's always fun. That's the best way to do it.
Yep.
Especially in a sport like hockey when just everything's unpredictable.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And like I said, just make some money now, Ohio. Let's have some fun with this. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the promo code THPN. Put $5 on any NHL team to win their game and win $150 in free bets if they do. Only at the DraftKings Sportsbook with the code THPN. Helps us, helps the network. Come on. Let's get it started.
Of course.
So go ahead. Kept keeper for you.
Did you go first last time, or did I go first?
I can't even remember, dude. It's been like having a week in between shows is always hard.
Here's how we'll do this. To start the season, start the year, okay? Rock, paper, scissors.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going rock.
1, 2, 3, shoot. You said you were going rock, and I
yes.
Go ahead.
Alfred. Okay, so that means you're going first because I'm choosing to defer.
You're choosing to. Is that how that works?
Yeah.
I never knew that's how
I won the coin toss. I'm choosing to defer.
Okay.
So next time I will go first.
Okay. So I'll just try to remember that for Saturday. Yeah. I'm gonna go with a guy that is in do or die time. I'm gonna go with Emil Bemstrom.
Yeah, so I had two picks for this, and Bemmer was one of them, and I just wanted you to pick him, like pick one of the two, so I could just go with the other. So perfect. He was
Well,
phenomenal in that game over against Chicago. He was all over the place.
well, a lot of guys were all over the place because that was actually a rare instance where they scored more than twice, where
And
they scored more than one.
yeah, so Bemstrom only had the one goal, and that's it. But like I saw this from Jeff Sabota, and I agreed with him totally. Like this is a guy who has scored a hat trick in the NHL before.
Mhm.
He did against the Predators in that.
He's a great defensive forward.
But it was the best game he's ever played in his career. He was all over the place. He played 13 minutes and 55 seconds. He had 6 shots on goal.
He's
and
still
over
playing top
10
line.
attempts. He was phenomenal. He made really good defensive plays. He made really good reads. He was aggressive, putting the puck on net. This is what we want to see from this guy if he's going to stay with this team and be a part of this future.
Well,
It's
that's
incredibly important. That's what we see from him.
that's the big thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've seen the defensive development. We've seen him in the bottom six. He's really speedy. He's got a decent shot.
Yeah.
He knows how to play the defensive side of the game. It's just at the NHL level, his offense never really showed up.
Yeah.
But then he gets an audition on the top line, whether that's with Johnny Gaudreau on his other wing, or in the case of tonight against Ottawa, as we're recording this, he's got Gus Nyquist with him.
Right.
Right? This is a do or die situation for Emil Bemstrom. Is he going to stick around or what?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And right now, his audition's looking pretty good.
I would say so.
It's pretty funny to me when you have Johnny Gaudreau and Patrick Line, a returning Patrick Laine on your second line.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that's just me.
Yeah.
Speaking of Johnny, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the pick I'm going to make here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at not just this game, but last 3 starts. Okay.
Okay. I think yes.
It's Corby.
Yes.
So obviously he gets hurt against the Flames, but in that game, he stopped all 12 shots that he faced, right?
Right.
And then the next game that he played in when he returned from injury, he stopped 34-36 against the Islanders.
Mm-hmm.
And in this
now 36, like we know this defense is bad.
Yeah.
We know this defense
That's
is
actually like a pretty good number for them to give up.
For those guys, yeah.
Allowed 20, so he stopped 27 of 28 in the win over Chicago. And, just throwing this out there right now, playing again, he's 10 of 10 against the Sens.
Yes.
Well,
our old flame Anton Forsberg is also 9 for 9.
So he's been really good. These last few games, he was really good against the Isles. He gave him a chance to win. They just didn't score. And then he gave him not just give him a chance against the Blackhawks. He, really gave him a shot at winning. All he had to do was score 2 goals, which has been a struggle, but they did it.
Well, that's the funny thing that we've talked about with this team. And, we can analyze the team a little bit better on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
But we know the defense is awful. We know they're ripped to shreds.
Mm-hmm.
We know Nick Blankenburg is close to coming back too, which is a bit of a positive.
Yeah.
And we know that they're shopping Gavrikov. We know all of these storylines with the defense. We know all these storylines with goaltending. Is Jonas going to be on the block? Is Elvis going to be on the block? What are we going to do about Tarasov's future? Right?
Yeah.
All 3 of these guys have very uncertain futures right now with this team.
Yeah. I think Tarasov's probably got the most obvious future.
Mm-hmm.
Probably just the most unclear present, I would say.
Probably.
But yeah,
it's
a good question.
But the biggest thing has been, where the hell is the offense?
I find it interesting, and sometimes you see this with bad teams, Jake.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, it was very much we're going to sacrifice defense for the sake of offense.
Yes.
This year, it almost feels like we're at a point with how, broken this roster is with injuries that we're going to just have to sacrifice offense just to, they're not stifling anybody defensively, but we'll allow a ton of chances so long as they're not great chances.
Try to win things close.
I think that there's been a shift in that mentality since the Buffalo loss.
Yeah.
It, to diminishing results, you've gotten you had a 7-game losing streak at one point, right?
Well, the other Buffalo game got postponed.
Yeah, thank God for that. Play them again. Yeah, I think Tage Thompson's the last guy these guys want to know.
Yeah, right now, of course. Yeah.
I hope it. I don't. This is the thing. Like,
do you think this increases at least like a trade value for Korpisalo?
Could. I think his value's.
Like, do you think there's even a market for a guy like him right now? Because remember, he's a career just above 900.
There is a value, a market for him, and there's two reasons that there's a market for him. One is he has playoff experience, and not only playoff experience, he was good in the playoffs.
Crazy playoff experience too, because he was in the marathon game in the bubble.
Mm-hmm. He's been playing well as of late, and that's another thing that goes. But here's the important thing: $1.3 million cap hit.
Yeah, the cap hit is extremely cheap.
That's what's going to give you value.
As long as he keeps playing well, sure.
Yeah, and the numbers are what they are, but there's always been an intrigue around him. Even when he was struggling, the Oilers looked at him. I want to say both last year,
around Koskinen
and the
time.
year before that.
They were looking for Korpisalo to replace, like they were looking to swap Koskinen, right?
And I think the other thing is like he hasn't shown that he is a number one guy, in my opinion.
Right.
He did show you that he can post good results and be reliable if he has a strong defense in front of him. And that's what he did in the 1920 season.
When they had Murray, when they had Savard.
Yes.
When you had actual decent defensive defensemen
in the league. And, they lost a ton of offensive talent, but they just leaned into their defense and they stifled teams. And there are teams who are going to make the playoffs this year that are going to have either goalie issues where one of their goalies is struggling, or they're going to have goalie injuries. And you can get a guy for $1.3 million if he's on the market, and, an expiring deal too.
Or you could be Jack Campbell.
There's value to that. And yeah, I don't know what the value is.
And I mean, the Canucks could be in on him too, because I know they're having their own goalie issues, and we'll get to them like here in 2 seconds. But like, there's a lot of weird goalie issues going on around the league this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, part of it is offense is up, and we know offense is up. Look at what the hell's going on.
You look at some of the things that some of these guys are doing. Offense is way up in this league. Not saying it's the worst thing, but it's definitely a bad time to be a goalie right now.
It's
especially if you're trying to make money.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen, because you're not going to see a goalie, like you're not going to see a $7 million goalie for a little bit, as long as offense stays like this.
Not so sure about that. Never underestimate GMs.
To overpay guys.
Yeah,
you're not wrong. you're not wrong. So yeah, Corp has been great, despite all the flaws that this season has gone through. And, I wanted to give our own, you got Corpy, I got Bemmer, and we know this is a make or break for Bemmer, so he deserves a shout.
Mhm.
Little bit of a shout to, well, like, again, we can't always give one to Johnny, but we kind of can.
No. He gets a Kepi every episode.
He's just like an umbrella
It's
like,
included in his contract, actually.
it's included in his contract. He gets a
It's a little
Kepi
bit of
keeper every.
offset language.
Oh man. I think there's still positives to talk about with this team, and Blank's coming back is going to be
Yeah.
interesting, figuring out where he's going to slot in. Right?
Easy. Easy. I have a very easy solution to that.
Blank's Goodbranson and Bernie friggin'
Yeah.
right?
Can you buy out a player mid-season?
After just signing a guy?
Yeah.
Speaking of potential buyouts,
Mhm.
our buddy JT Miller's making noise again.
Can you buy out a player before their deal kicks in?
So yes, you guys know we love talking about the Canucks for the tire fire that they
We are addicted to it.
Yeah, okay. I actually no lie love the Canucks. They have players that I just can't help but cheer for.
Yeah.
Right?
And Jake, I like milk, but I prefer for it not to be spoiled. And frankly, our clip talking about JT Miller's extension has aged very, very poorly. That milk is way.
I'm surprised we haven't gotten more traction on that since.
Yeah, it's a brutal one. I'm not gonna lie. Not our brightest moment.
Tough take. I know our Truba clip got us a couple of chirps.
Oh no. We better watch out. We might get an elbow to the head.
Yeah, right. Okay, so the JT story this time. Basically, he screamed at Colin Delia.
Yes.
He threw a temper tantrum against his own goalie.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The $8 million man.
Who's not even an $8 million man yet.
No.
Look, there's a lot of things that I feel about this, and I've seen a lot.
Yeah,
of
me too.
takes
It's
on it, okay?
so weird.
But the one thing that people
it's another microcosm, right? Like we talked about the Dory story a while back. I actually watched that clip back just to look for fun. I recorded a little chirp you made.
There's one thing that I feel like people aren't talking about with it and aren't saying about it that needs to be said. That it was hilarious. It was really funny. It was really funny watching this dude slamming his stick on the back of the net because his goalie didn't leave 2 seconds earlier than he was supposed to.
Well, the thing, okay, none of the assistants nor Bruce waved him over. He didn't get any call up to go. And part of that, a big part of that, I think, is from the defending team.
Yeah.
Our old buddy, Kevin Stenlund, just right in Colin Delia's kitchen.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that you can learn from different things like this, too. And one thing that I learned is that Colin Delia is a Vancouver Canuck.
Well, you got to remember, too, he's also their third guy.
Yeah, behind Spencer Martin.
And I don't know if Spence was just backing up that night or if he's hurt, because Thatcher's hurt.
Yeah, and he's been no good this season anyway.
I don't know if Spencer got hurt or if he was just backing up that night. I don't know.
The best thing that the Canucks can do moving forward is to send Thatcher Demko to the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Hey,
But no, in all seriousness, like this guy is miserable right now.
JT.
Yes. I know that like everybody's talking about how the Canucks are definitely regretting this decision to sign into this contract.
Well,
I also think this player is regretting signing that contract.
my whole thing is why wouldn't you do Bo first? Why wouldn't you get Bo's deal done first?
I don't know if we talked about it at the time. It was always strange that they did JT before Bo
Yeah.
because he was literally your captain.
Bo Horvat is, yes, he's your captain. He can do everything.
And it feels weird to if you could only choose one, if that was the situation, which we didn't know at the time. I didn't know if it was going to be a one or the other, or we're trying to get both done. But
Right.
if it was always going to be a one or the other, it should have never been JT. One, because Bo is your captain.
Mm-hmm.
Two, because Bo is younger. And three, because if you had signed him before the season, before he went on this, absolute shooting bender,
On this huge tear.
he would have been cheaper.
Yeah.
What contract does Bo get before the season, before he goes on this? Somewhere in the range of 6.75 to 7.5 over 7 or 8.
Somewhere between 6 and 8.
It wouldn't have been 8. Like it would have been like I know what you were saying, like in between that, but like it wouldn't have been 8 by 8, which is what Miller got, right?
Yes.
Miller got either an 8 by 8 or an 8 by 7.
Yes, it was one of those.
But like again, like because here's the two factors. If this is a one or the other situation,
I want to say it was a 7-year because I think it runs until 2030.
Okay, but two reasons. If this is an either or scenario, you either keep your Bo or JT. One, as I said, Bo is younger. He's your captain. He is always playing the center position.
Mm-hmm.
He would have been cheaper. And 5, you would have gotten more in return for JT Miller than you would have in a trade before the season for Bo Horvat.
Especially after a career year 99 points.
So, like, I'm so confused.
Because that's a career year. He's not replicating that.
Yeah, of course. And we did address that. We both said that he wasn't going to replicate that. But I think you and I were just kind of under the impression when he signed the deal that they were just going to lock in this core and that Bo would be a part of it. And now that we look at it, and there is hindsight for sure, but now that we're sitting here, it's like that's a really rough mistake.
And like I think another layer to the onion has to also deal with a couple other different players. The Ekman-Larsson trade. Yeah. Because you get OEL's cap hit and Connor Garland's on top of that.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, Connor Garland's a good player, but it's a good point that's a little over $12 million that
so then like
you added to the cap. And now granted, you got rid of Louis Eriksson and
you dumped the guys that you needed to dump.
They only have 1 year left on the deal. So like sure, you don't have Connor Garland if you don't make that deal, but you keep a top pick, which was used on Dylan Guenther, who's
he's tearing it up in the juniors right now.
And you don't have to worry about this $7+ million to Oliver Ekman-Larsson. And granted, he's been better than we thought he would be.
He's doing okay.
He's a fine second pair defenseman, whose minutes should probably be sheltered.
It has me worried this whole situation between JT, like just in terms of the money, just in terms of their cap space, JT and OEL have me worried specifically about 4 guys.
Yeah.
Bo Horvat.
Bo.
Elias Pettersson.
Yes.
Quinn Hughes.
Yeah. Well,
Andrei Kuzmenko.
Kuzmenko's a big part of this.
He's only on the
Because
1-year ELC,
yeah,
and he's tearing it up.
he's really good, really, really, really good player. So Luke Hughes. Quinn Hughes will be a UFA at the end of the 26-27 season when he's 27 years old.
Quinn.
They got him on a really, really good deal, 7.85. So he isn't as much of a concern about that because I want to say his deal's ending around the same time that OEL's contract is.
Sure.
Because OEL's contract ends 26-27.
Okay.
So OEL isn't going to impact Quinn because
hopefully that money can just go to Quinn.
Yeah, that exactly. Like they'll give Quinn a raise because those contracts end at the same time, but it still impacts you over the next 4 years.
Yeah,
because we're talking about July of 2027 and that deal is off your books.
Yes.
It's a long time. That's 4 years.
It's pretty ridiculous thinking about how long that is.
Yeah.
And PD is an RFA at 26 years old. Right? So they'll still have his rights, but he's going to need a big raise.
Yeah. Well, and this is where it gets scary for RFAs because at the age of 26, all he has to do, if he wants, is just say, I'll play on the qualifying offer. Or we'll go for 1 year arbitration. Suddenly he's a UFA.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's
yeah, if you just take the QO or you whatever, if you just take the 1 year, then he can just leave.
At the age of 27. Where sure, you might have time to try and move some money to pay him. You're not going to get him at the deal you want. You're going to have no leverage.
No.
So, good luck to the Canucks, man. This is a rough.
And the more again, the two more immediate ones, Andre and Bo.
Yeah. And it's not going to impact his money for this year or the 2 years after this, but it almost certainly brings up this question that's been looming for years now. What do you do with Brock?
Yeah.
What's the plan here with this guy?
Because they gave his agents permission to talk to other teams, right? We talked about that.
Like this has been going on since like 2019, doesn't it?
It's so weird how this is just a muddy little. Ugh.
It just doesn't end. This guy has been on the trade block since he was drafted. It feels like.
And you know why? I'm not going to blame JT for these particular issues. That's just cap mismanagement.
Yeah, no.
That's on JR. That's on Jim Benning. That's on Patrick Alvin.
Yeah. No, I never criticized.
That's on Francesco Aquilini. God. There
you go. That is the one constant in all this.
JT Miller, man.
Yeah. To get back to the actual thing that happened.
In the locker room. Do you think this guy's a good teammate?
I don't want to make the assumption that he is a bad teammate. Because we really haven't seen this from him before. We didn't see this at all last year with the Canucks. We didn't see this.
We saw it a little bit last year.
I certainly don't remember it.
Like during practices, when like they were doing drills, and he came and he like literally a hot mic, you could hear him screaming, "We don't know what we're fucking doing."
Yeah. So
things like
here's
that.
what I'll say. We didn't really see this in New York. We didn't really see this in Tampa. We didn't really see this last year. And the reason that that doesn't affect me is because that happens at a lot of practices. Players yelling back at their coaches, screaming like that happens. That's
Sure.
you know what I mean. Like I don't know. Like players are stubborn sometimes, and some coaches like it, some coaches don't.
Mhm.
It's this what I'm seeing this year is concerning.
Yeah, because it's just like it's a collapse from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And a guy that's supposed to be probably what, your second in command in that locker room?
Yeah, I maybe not second. He's in the top five. He's you're the leader, right?
Yeah.
You know, obviously Bo's your captain.
Hmm.
You know, you want to see Quinn step up and be a leader. You've
You want
got
to
some
see?
veterans like OEL, as we mentioned.
Yep.
You've got Elise Pedersen, who's a really talented hockey player.
Tyler Myers can at least do like
Tyler
leadership
Myers,
things.
yeah, Tyler
Yeah.
Myers has been an alternate
And
in
that's a big
leagues
question
before.
is what's going on with Tyler
Yeah, Brock's been a part of this organization since 2015.
for a long time. Yep.
So yeah, but JT is also up there because he's a veteran and he's a very talented hockey player.
Hmm.
Uh,
So it's just what
he's an interesting name to watch around the deadline this year.
it just blows my mind that like he's the one. The coaches didn't say a word.
Mm-hmm.
The coaches were not waving Delia over for good reason. The team didn't have possession.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they didn't want to worry about turning it over because Stenlin was standing right there.
Yeah,
Quick, easy turnover. That's a bang, bang play.
yeah.
Like just in a hockey sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I get why they were hesitant to pull him.
Of course. It just that makes just the most amount of hockey sense.
So then where is this frustration coming from with JT? Just melting the hell down and saying, get the fuck off of here.
Yeah.
Or like get the fuck to the bench or whatever he said.
I have no idea.
I've never seen him this frustrated.
Yeah.
You know,
see a lot of players this frustrated.
I've never seen him this frustrated, especially after he was the one that was probably the most calm during all the COVID stuff.
Yeah.
He was the one rallying everybody during all the COVID stuff.
Yeah. The interesting thing for me for moving forward with him is A, does he get traded? And B, what does a JT Miller trade look like? Because whoever is trading for him isn't just trading for the player. You're trading for the contract.
You're trading for an $8 million contract.
For a long time. And if you trade for him now, I don't think you're going to be able to have any retention on the salary because
it is 7 years because it's a $56 million total.
Okay.
I just remember that off the top of my head.
If you trade for him, I don't believe you can have any of the salary retained because that contract hasn't kicked in yet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So are the Canucks now waiting for the off season to deal him?
Could be.
I don't know. It's an interesting question. This is something we're gonna have to come back to. But
well, you could still I know because I know Bo's gonna expire, but you can still negotiate, right, with a guy who's unrestricted. You could still negotiate with a guy to try to bring him back.
Yeah,
we've seen that.
Yeah.
So maybe
that's where they're not quite Arizona levels interesting with some of their stuff, but they're one of the more interesting teams in this league, and not for the right reasons.
No. Speaking of Arizona, Winter Classic. Because they are one of 3 teams that now has not had any outdoor games.
Yep.
The Winter Classic this year, that just happened as of recording this yesterday was awesome.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't watch it.
It was brilliant. It looked amazing.
Yeah, and you know, Bruins, Penguins, like they get ratings. I get it. Like
We
know,
talked about that last show with how they rehash everybody and how we want to see, like,
yeah.
I want to see newer teams in more stadium series
Mm-hmm.
over Winter Classic, if that makes sense.
Here's how I want to do it. Just one. Win a classic, and that's it. And find new ways to incorporate new teams. Like, it's cool that they're doing Seattle and Vegas. I know some Blue Jackets fans are upset about it. I'm not. I think that's cool.
No,
That's what I want
no.
to see. I'm not going to be mad at Seattle because the NHL has spurned us from giving us an outdoor game for well over a decade. That's not Seattle's fault. You get a new shiny toy, this new team against another relatively new team in Vegas. You know that they're going to
Expansion brethren, man.
And-
They put their bets in for it, or put their bids in for it around the same time, right?
And you have a viable place for them to play. I have no problem with that. The problem with Blue Jackets is it's not an easy solution. It's not we're just going to play the shoe and that's that. It'd be cool, but Ohio State has made it pretty clear that they don't want to do that.
Well, it's a piping issue with the horseshoe, right? More or less.
So they say.
So they say.
I don't doubt that might be an issue, but I also don't doubt, Jake, that they have more than enough money to fix it.
You would think so, especially the athletic department.
Good God. It's one of the most profitable programs in all of the country.
Mm-hmm.
You're Ohio freaking State, okay? I don't want to hear it's a plumbing issue. No. It's a fact. If they wanted to have the Blue Jackets play a Winter Classic game at the shoe, they'd do it. They don't. So
they don't. And here's the facts, just from what we've seen over the last little while. You need a winning team.
Yeah.
You need a contending team.
This team sucks.
This team is nowhere near
really
deserving
yeah.
of an outdoor game right now.
Yeah.
The Carolina Hurricanes got theirs because look at what they're doing right now.
Well, Lee surely could have figured out a way to give Seattle an outdoor game this year. They didn't.
They're winning.
But they're going to get it next year. And why? They're good this year. So
yeah, they're winning this year. Yeah, they're in a playoff spot right now.
There's absolutely a correlation. I don't know if the solution is you do another outdoor game at the big house and the Blue Jackets visit the Red Wings.
That could be an option, I guess.
Your Ohio State, Michigan thing.
That could be a fun little tie-in to do, sure. But at the same time, like, they've already been there.
Yeah,
right?
Have. But they've also already been to Fenway.
They've been to Fenway twice now. Yep.
Against the Flyers. They've already done a Boston Bruins outdoor game at Fenway Park against a Pennsylvania team. I've seen this script before.
Because wasn't the
Bruins won that game 2-1. Both games were won 2-1.
Didn't they do Heinz twice?
I know they did 2011. Heinz Field was Penguins versus Capitals. They may have done it again. It may have been a stadium series. I'm not sure, but
I think they might have done Heinz twice. They've done a couple of themes twice. The Lake Tahoe thing was actually really fun. That one was unique. That one was cool.
One second.
But just like, I want to see it because there's 3 left, right? There's Columbus, there's Arizona, and there's Florida, the Panthers.
Yep.
So it's like, what do you do? What are viable options, right?
Mm-hmm.
Columbus, you could do a divisional game with, you You could do something like that with a Pittsburgh, with a Washington, with a Rangers,
Yeah.
former players there, right?
Yeah. I don't know who your matchup would be against. One thing that was said that I don't know if they would do, that was suggested, is the soccer stadium. The
Oh yeah,
soccer stadium,
lower.com. Yeah.
very nice. It has very nice views. It would probably be really cool venue. The only issue is I'm not sure the NHL is going to think it's worth it to do an outdoor game in a stadium that's only going to be able to sit about 21,000 people.
Yeah, it's only a few thousand more than what Nationwide can sit.
So you're in a rough spot. I mean, like, here's the thing, Jake. You want to know how I know it's easy to do an outdoor game?
Mm.
The Monsters have one this year.
That's right. They're playing at First Energy, right?
First Energy Stadium. Yeah, in a football stadium. They are playing against the Wilkes-Barre Penguins.
Yeah, they're playing against the baby Pens.
So here is
You know
one
what?
thing to say.
Here's
As
an
someone
idea.
who has been to both First Energy Stadium and the Horseshoe,
Mhm.
I can tell you that one is nicer than the other. And yet, one of them is hosting an outdoor game for a minor league hockey team.
Yeah.
Why? Because they want to.
You know what could be a fun idea? And I know it's not Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
Play at Great American Ballpark.
It'd be really cool.
Play at GABP. Do it.
There's no real precedent from what I know about them playing outdoor games away from
The actual home city. Yeah.
The only time I can think of it was during COVID when they did the game at Lake Tahoe. But that was almost kind of like your Field of Dreams game.
Yeah, that was definitely more of a Field of Dreams type of atmosphere, wasn't it?
Yeah. But that would be interesting, wouldn't it? It is or here's an idea.
They did one at the Cotton Bowl. They can give Arizona one. They could give Florida one if they do one at the Cotton Bowl.
Here's an idea, okay? If this league loves Pittsburgh as much as they do, and understandably so,
yeah,
they've got great players.
Sidney Crosby, Chris Letang, and Evgeny Malkin, of course.
They get great ratings.
They get Stanley Cups. Jeez.
Blue Jackets Penguins at PNC Park.
Do it. Oh. It hosts a shitty baseball team, but it's a brilliant ballpark.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's like there's ways to do it. They just choose not to. I'm stunned that Arizona hasn't gotten an outdoor game.
Well, because do you remember?
Just because Gary loves them so much. I'm surprised that he didn't find a way to immediately get them an outdoor game against Vegas.
Right. That would be fun, though. The Yotes in Vegas, that would be pretty fun.
Yeah.
Two desert teams going. Yeah, that would be fun. I remember a couple of years ago, because I remember Oliver was still here, right? It was Boone and Oliver, and maybe it was just the two of them. Maybe Gavrikov was with them. Something like that. They went to the NHL offices.
Yeah.
And they talked to representatives about potential options, about more games on national TV, about a potential outdoor game.
Yeah.
They talked to league officials about this.
Yeah.
They talked to suits for this. So, like, why is this not getting done? The biggest two reasons.
We know why.
Yeah, the biggest two reasons. OSU kind of just doesn't want to, and the team sucks right now.
They suck. They are bad.
Sure, it's got marketability to it.
But again,
they have marketable players, sure.
There was a 4-year stretch where this team made the playoffs in a row.
Could have done it then.
None of those years they did it.
Could have done it then.
We won 50 games in 16-17.
There was a 16-game winning streak.
And during
this team went on.
And they 17-18, did we get? No, nothing.
No.
Nothing.
You sign Johnny Gaudreau, you keep Patrick Laine around, you have notable players to market for an outdoor game.
Yeah.
Where is it, Gary? Where's the idea, Gary?
Yeah.
At least give us an idea.
Like I said, I'm not upset that Vegas and Seattle are getting.
No, it's going to be brilliant. It's going to be awesome at T-Mobile Park, too, because, like...
I will be upset if the Panthers or Coyotes get one before we do. That's when you're going to see me mad.
Yeah. I am very excited for the 24 Winter Classic because
I haven't watched the Winter Classic in forever.
Not only are not only is T-Mobile Park hosting the Winter Classic, I think they're also hosting the All-Star game that year.
Yeah.
It's a nice ballpark. For the MLB.
Yeah, it's a nice ballpark. Seattle's great city, great sports town. So, really cool.
I'm excited to see what those jersey concepts are going to be, though. It's going to be really, really fun. I'm just trying to not pay too much attention to the game that's going on right now because we're doing this thing.
I haven't paid any attention to it.
We're losing bad.
Good. You want to know why?
Connor Bedard.
No, because through DraftKings, I bet on the Senators.
You did? Okay. Small extension we're going to talk about, and then we're going to talk about 2023 and what we want to see about this, what we want to see through this year.
Okay.
So the extension, Joe Pavelski is going to stick around in Dallas for another year.
3.5, right?
3.5 or 3.75.
I think it's 3.5 base. So that's his AAV, but he has performance bonuses and whatnot. Really smart contract by Jim Nill. Good extension by Dallas. Awesome to see he's going to stay around for another year.
Well, Joe's
he doesn't slow down, so
he's not
I don't
aging.
think we have to spend much time on this because it's just a really good player gets another year, and
it's just funny because like how old is he? Right, him and
38 or 39, right?
Yeah, he's getting way up there to the point where like most players would retire, right?
Or at least show signs of maybe slowing down,
some sort of decline.
He's 38. He's going to be 39 years old when this extension kicks in by the time that they go into next season. And he's shown no signs of stopping.
Because he's playing with Rope Hintz and Jason Robertson.
And he does shit on his own though. Like it's not even like, oh, he's just a product at this point of his life.
Right. No, he's still
really good.
He still does amazing things. And it's no wonder that Dallas is, at the top of the Central Division right now. Right?
So let me list his stats with the Stars. And I find this interesting.
No, can you start with his last couple of years in San Jose? Just to add like a little bit more context to that.
Yes, I also want to point out his first season in Dallas because I find it quite interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll give you his last 2 years in San Jose, 17, 18, and 18, 19. 66 and 82, 64 and 75. Okay.
Wow.
His first year in Dallas, the one that was cut short by COVID, 31 points in 67 games.
Whoa.
Remember at the time, it almost felt like this is kind of like the end for him. He comes back, 51 points in 56 games, 25 goals.
There you go.
Last year, 81 points in 82 games.
Yo!
And in this season, 37 points in 38 games.
Holy shit.
He's just not stopping.
No. This is... We talk about how Ovi doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Right? We talk about how Sid doesn't stop. How these guys are aging and they're just not going anywhere near any decline.
Joe Pavelski's 39 points away from 1,000.
Oh, Patrice Bergeron just got his 1,000th point this year. Right?
Joe Pavelski is going to be a very, very interesting case by the end of his career.
For the Hall of Fame?
I think so. I don't know if he is, but man, he's had a really good career.
He was this close to his cup.
Yeah.
This close to it twice.
Yeah.
Right? Because wasn't he with Dallas when they went to the final?
Yeah. It was his first year in Dallas.
Yeah. And then he went to the final with the Sharks that lost to the Penguins.
Mm-hmm. So he's been to the final twice. Good playoff performer.
Mm-hmm. Amazing player.
Yeah, I don't know if he doesn't have the accolades to be a Hall of Famer in my opinion, but
he
really
doesn't
good.
have the trophies.
Yeah, but
and I know you need the trophies for that.
Yeah, he's not a Hall of Famer, but he's not a Hall of Famer in the same way that Rick Nash isn't a Hall of Famer. You know what I mean? Amazing career, career. Just doesn't have enough.
Just brilliant career. He just doesn't have the kind of like tangible things that you look for.
Yeah.
Right.
But still exciting that he's going to have another year in Dallas. He's been playing really well, showing no signs of slowing
Some of
down.
his best hockey, dude.
Like not only is this like good that he's going to stay for another year in Dallas, and I said good move by Jim Nill. I mean, not just the extension, but getting this guy in the first place.
Yeah.
That's going to go down as one of Jim Nill's best moves in his career in Dallas. And he deserves a ton of credit for that because it was seen kind of as a controversial move at the time to give a 3-year deal to Joe Pavelski, who looked like he might be slowing down. And in his first year in Dallas, it looked like he was.
Right.
But that was just a fluke. And the next 3 seasons have shown that.
And I mean, again, it does. He's not a byproduct of these two guys, but it does extremely help.
Of course.
Having Robert Hintz and Jason Robertson as your line mates.
Joe Pavelski makes those guys better. Those guys make him better.
Yeah.
You know, iron sharpens iron.
Great move. And it's good that we get more of Pavs because he's just one of those guys in this league that you can't help but root for.
Really? Yeah. Well, who doesn't like Joe Pavelski?
Him and really Jumbo. Him and Jumbo were the best.
Maybe Vegas fans don't like Joe Pavelski.
Maybe Vegas fans because of that Game 7. Yeah, sure. But, that was more on you guys.
Yeah.
That was more Cody Egan's fault. Yeah. So that's more on you guys.
Mm-hmm. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Yeah. And it, like him and Jumbo together, man. Him and Jumbo together were just
Jumbo and Patty Marleau together for
Patty Marleau, Brent Burns together with him, Pickles with him for all those years.
Insane that those Sharks teams didn't win one cup.
No, it's so brutal because they're such brilliant players together as a nucleus. That whole core of guys. Yeah. And then when you brought in Timo and Thomas to add to that.
You know who we haven't even mentioned yet is Logan Couture.
Logan Couture. Yeah, because he's the most under the radar of all of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's just consistently good. Out of that whole core of Sharks that just, it's so brutal.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so rough. But yeah, I'm super happy that Pavs is sticking around and good for him. And, you know, we get another year of this guy.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
It's really sad seeing all these veterans leave.
Mm-hmm.
All these veterans that we grew up with.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you see a guy sign their, you know, another 1-year deal like this, and you're like, yay, another one that's going to stick around. Right?
It's very nice when that happens.
It's really, really nice. But I want to end on, so yes, welcome to 2023, everybody. Thank you for coming on this journey with us.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we talked about, I sent this tweet thread on New Year's Eve, thanking the dude on the left side of your screen, for one thing, for being the best co-host I could have asked for. Like,
Wow,
honest,
you had
like
really low expectations, didn't you?
Well, it's like what I said at the end of last year, right? I came in with the idea for this show and I was just like, I want to talk about this team. I want to talk about big stories around the league.
Mm-hmm.
I want to have fun with it.
Yeah.
And we're turning it into something now.
Yeah, we are.
Joining the Hockey Podcast Network over the last year was a huge accomplishment for us.
Yeah, big step. It almost obviously there's still so much further to go with this, but it was a validating move.
Yes, and having the support from Jeremy and Laura, from Neil, at least because like those two were, two of our original follows, right? Just as fellow shows.
Yeah. And from the people just who watch and listen.
Shout outs to all of our friends from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I still have
2014.
All the way back to 2014. The artillery guys, Matt, Jordan, Warren, Kyle, Danny, Lindsay, Ellie, Jason, friggin' Jim and Dennis.
Do you want me to say something?
How many people can we shout
Right.
out just like as our friends that
I
have
wanna say
supported
something
us
that's
from the
going to
get-go?
just blow you away when you think about it for 1 second.
Huh?
We've known him for 9 years.
What?
2014.
Oh my God.
The 13-14 season is when we all started like talking and Twitter and whatnot. Like we've known these people for almost a decade now.
I still have that picture, that old picture from when I first met you and Ellie, and your like weird like crinkle face. Like
yeah.
I might post that on a throwback day.
Oh my God.
Just
back when I was skinny.
And you didn't have your glasses.
I didn't have any facial hair. I looked like I was a totally different person.
Ellie and I look related in this picture. It's like the weirdest thing. But it's like just, we love you all to death. 100%. And for supporting us just as friends. And then jumping on when we had this idea to do the show.
Yeah.
And just say, hey, my friends are doing a show now. Yeah. It's amazing. And like getting, obviously I want to shout out Matt again because she's like one of our other #1 fans out there on Twitter.
Yeah.
She said she wants to come.
Kind words the other day. I saw those.
She said she wants to come on the show.
Yeah.
And hang out. That'd be fun. I'm trying to think. We shouted out Mike because, of course, best dude in the business. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Obviously, we wouldn't be here without Kyle and Dylan getting us into the fold with THPN. Right? And just so many people to thank for 2022. Now, expectations for 2023 and our goals, right?
Yes.
This is something I want to kind of preview since we have so much of this year left.
Number 1. Okay. Bedard Fantilli or Carlson.
Oh man. Obviously, I gotta, I've been slacking on the audio side of things. I need to fix that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that was one of the things that I didn't touch on right off the bat when we joined, honestly. So that's on me. I'm gonna take the fall for that part.
As you should.
As the producer of this show.
Yeah.
Because all you do is come in and talk with your numbers.
Yeah. And
and people like the numbers. So what?
Whatever.
I want to do more watch alongs, obviously, on the Hockey Podcast Network YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're still, as the World Juniors are going on, we've been doing watch alongs for the World Juniors. That's a huge thing for us. We're going to do more watch alongs, more than just Jackets games. So come hang out with us for neutral games. Probably more me, but I would love, you know, Jay, you can do a couple on your own.
Of course.
Hang out with people, grow the show. We can do some together when we can make time to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Make it fun. So we'll be doing more live stream watch alongs. I want to get bigger guests.
Yeah.
I want
Like
to figure
finally get Connor Bedard on the show when he was inevitably drafted. By the Columbus Blue Jackets.
I do, because last year was also really big for Jeremy and Laura,
Yeah.
right? It was huge for them.
Mm-hmm.
They hit episode 150. They interviewed players like Andrew Peak. They interviewed Jarmo Kekalainen, right?
Yeah.
Huge for them. They won they won like podcast awards. We're hitting episode 100 by February.
Hell yeah, we are.
It's amazing. And I want to do something really special for episode 100. Just what that is, we're still trying to figure that out. More or less. But we have about a month and a half to figure that out. But I want bigger guests. I want to keep having fun the way we always have fun. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Keep talking about our boys. Keep being awestruck by the fact that Johnny Gaudreau's even a Blue Jacket.
Still feels weird.
It still feels so weird, does it not?
Yeah.
Being awestruck by Patrick Laine just being the sweetest dude in the world wanting to stay.
Mm-hmm.
Like what strikes me about Patty staying is just the way he's been around the media about it.
Yeah.
And how amicable he is.
Yeah.
Right?
I'll say this. It's been a rough season, no doubt about it. In just every way, every conceivable way.
Yeah.
And we just talked earlier about JT Miller and how like miserable he looks. And the Canucks are way better off right now in terms of just record than we.
In terms of just standings, yes.
Yes. Johnny Gaudreau signs his big deal here. He gets shit on by a whole hockey world about it. Patrick Laine signs his extension too. And
we still get chirps from Neil from having him stolen from them in New Jersey.
But I just like, this has been as miserable of a year as we could have expected. And I don't think either of those two have wavered.
No.
In you know how they view signing here. The way that they did. I think they're happy. And I have a lot of love for them for that.
This isn't the season that we expected to have.
No.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And we're nowhere close to done with it. So you got to stick along with the ride for it. And we'll be here.
Or even at the halfway freaking point of the season.
No, I know. And we're going to be here to cover all of it. But hey.
Good God. 35 games in.
I know. And I want a big
We're
cheers.
not even at the halfway point. Oh my God. You seriously grab me one of those. I'm going to.
I want to give a big cheers to all of everybody that has been with us from the start. That's come along with us from my first watch along, from any point that you've joined us.
Yeah. Anybody who's joined along the way, we appreciate you.
Here's to you. Here's to 2023. Here's to our boys in Union Blue.
Cheers to DraftKings.
Cheers to DraftKings. Sign up with THPN.
A lot of money right now.
Sign up with
I
THPN.
am really good at sports
Ohio,
betting.
you can do this again. You can finally do this.
Yep. Thank God.
I
can't tell you what a pain in the ass it was being in Buffalo and having to always drive to a casino to do my sports betting. And now I'm just like on my phone and I'm just like, God, I could never imagine having to
put $5 on this and $10 on this. And
Yeah.
But here's to 2023. Here's to a lot of growth for Jake Jackets.
Mm-hmm.
Here's to more.
Yeah, baby.
We'll see you Saturday.
Love y'all.
Jake Jackets, a podcast for fifth liners and all puckheads around. Follow the guys on Twitter at Snake Garinger, GARRINGER, and at by J Ashdown. And subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen. March on.